Hello, and welcome to a reflective episode of the Drywall Podcast. I am your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, we have, once again, Cory Fisher, owner and developer of TechDry Tools and owner of Elite Drywall out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Cory was one of the very first episodes of the Drywall Podcast way back in June of 2022 when TechDry first launched their product, the Dry X. We catch up with Cory to see where the TechDry is at today and maybe get a little more info on his past. We talk about his experience working with commercial drywall companies and how that experience led him to have a pivotal idea in the drywall space.
You know, we made a couple prototypes. I wish I had one around here. I don't know where it is.
You did the same thing on the last episode 2 years ago. Yeah.
Super shaky, just trash. I'll send you a picture. You can add it to the portfolio, but it worked. You know, it showed that the concept worked. And then I had a buddy that he makes guns, AR-15s and stuff like that. So I was like, hey man, let's make me up a real prototype. So he makes a real one.
Okay.
And then we had some CAD files to go off of, and then we just started.
We discuss the challenges of product development, and we also talk about some new tools that TechDry is getting ready to launch very soon. If you've listened to the last episode with Cory and you liked it, you are going to love this episode. Today's podcast was brought to you by Fresco Harmony and also TechDry Tools. Stay tuned in this episode for a special promo code where you can go to the online store and receive 10% off of a TechDry tool. Guests of the Drywall Podcast will receive a sweet swag bucket with lots of goodies inside from our friends over at CSR. The Drywall Podcast can be listened to on your favorite platforms like Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can also watch this entire episode on YouTube or listen to the entire episode on our YouTube page. Head over to YouTube, look up the Drywall Podcast, and listen to your heart's content. And be sure to hit the subscribe button while you are over there. I would appreciate it. But for now, Cory Fisher out of Lincoln, Nebraska, Elite Drywall, inventor of the TechDry tool on the 108th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. If I was good at podcasting, I would have a backdrop with logos. I would have the logo on my microphone. You know, like I just do my thing.
You're getting up there now, man. It might be time to do that.
Well, and here's the thing about the vault, which was an awesome location, and I had the stickers behind me.
Yeah.
Was and I'm gonna make sure that we got my speaker going. They changed owners, and then the main Wi-Fi where I get my Wi-Fi, I have to have an extender because I get really bad reception down there.
Oh no.
So it doesn't, it breaks up. I don't get good connectivity. Yeah.
You mean extender just like a booster?
Yeah, because I was doing those early episodes.
Yeah.
I was getting a lot of where it would stop, it would freeze, because it takes a lot of bandwidth to do these. Yeah. So you have to have a really good high internet speed, like a good solid internet speed. The extender worked fine, but when the old owners left, it stopped working because they shut down the internet.
I
and
don't know.
they started it back up, and I haven't been able to fix that. So hence but I'll say this, I do like doing podcasts from my house. I have my coffee here. It's
Yeah,
comfortable, you know, like all of that.
yeah.
I was listening to, first of all, we've got Cory Fisher, the famous Cory Fisher of TechDry Tool on the Drywall Podcast. And this is the second time we've had Cory on the podcast. I was just driving back from my office and I was listening to your original podcast,
Yeah.
and it's very crude.
Why?
My intro is very crude, and the sound wasn't very good. And
Well, you got a long ways since then. Because what was I, episode 3 or 4 or
yeah, like 3 or 4. So if you're listening, you can go back and catch our first episode over 2.5 years now, almost 2.5 years, which is crazy. In that episode, I say that I'm going to catch up with you in 4 years. It's been 2.5, and we're catching up. Cory Fisher, TechDry Tool. And what's your company, your drywall company name, Cory?
we were an Elite Drywall. Right there, got the hat.
Dude, where's my Elite hat? Those are sweet.
I'll get you some sent over.
That's like, forget the TechDry. That's next level vintage
See if we
stuff.
can get you some sent over.
I was going to wear my TechDry shirt, but I knew you'd be wearing your TechDry shirt.
That's the new one there. I
I didn't want to match up. I like that vertical placement. Is the original vertical?
We have both.
You have both. Okay, I think I have a horizontal.
Yeah.
Cool. You have a cool logo. The TechDry is a cool tool. We're gonna do a little different format this time.
Yeah.
I was very free flow back in the early days of the Drywall Podcast. So we'll start off with did I hit record?
Yeah, we're recording. I've seen it.
So the first one, Cory and I did a whole episode, and I forgot to record it.
That's all right.
And you were so cool about it. And then I called you back. I think with the next day, I was like, dude, we need to like stay on top of this. The next day, I called you back. We got it recorded, and all was well. I've done that a couple of times since, but it's very rare in recent times that I've forgotten to record. Everything's plugged in. We're good to go. Good. You are from right now. Where do you live?
We're in Lincoln, Nebraska right now. Right outside of Lincoln, Nebraska.
And Kevin Bush will enjoy that. Yeah. He's a big Nebraska fan guy.
I talk to Kevin every now and then.
Yeah, he's so great to talk to.
He always brings it up. Kevin's actually one of my greatest allies here. He's really helped me out with quite a few things, and just a good guy. Even if you're not talking drywall, he's a blast to talk to. Yeah,
he's a helper. He's a connector, and he's a helper in the industry. People like us need people like that. His son, Chris, came down and did some drywall. We've had Chris on the Drywall Podcast. If you don't know, Kevin Bush wrote an article for Walls and Ceilings magazine called Adventures in Drywall. We've had Kevin Bush on the podcast 4 times now. Great guy. He's got all these great stories about his drywall adventure. He worked for Grabber doing sales. So he's well connected in the industry. So people that sell products like myself and Cory appreciate somebody like Kevin who knows a lot of people.
I was talking to Chris a little while ago, and he was kind of looking to get out of Montana, and I offered for him to come out here, but he didn't think Nebraska sounded too appealing. And then I was like, well, you should give Nick a call. He always needs help. So then I think that's how I ended up down there.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Lately, it's been slow. The service has been slow. Sales are good. I do want to talk to you a little bit about sales because that's fun. Sales have been good. Good. I have a completely different approach than you. I have a completely different product. But we'll get into the nuts and bolts too of TechDry, of course. Prior to TechDry, though, you are second generation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And how did you start working during the summer? How did you get into the drywall? Dad's like, come on, spot screws,
Yeah. I,
wash the tools, like all
yeah.
that.
Well, we started out, I was probably 13 or 14 and scrapping houses all the way from spotting screws, scrapping houses, hanging drywall at the very bottom. And then I finally owed my dad like $500 one time. So he's like, yeah, you're coming to work till your money's paid off.
Why'd you owe
So
your dad
I don't
$500?
remember why, it was a long time ago, but
Were
this
you
is,
13 or 14 when you owed your dad
no,
$500?
I was probably 18, probably
Okay. All
17,
right.
18. And then I just
He
never left.
he bought something cool for you and you were like, "I'll pay you back if you get this thing for me."
I don't remember what it was, but he said, you're coming till it's paid back. And I just stuck around.
Really? What was he paying you back in? And how old are you if you don't mind, Cory?
39.
39. Okay, you're
I
pretty
think
young.
I started at $9 or $10 an hour,
Okay.
which ain't bad.
No, not in probably the early 2000s,
Yep.
I would say.
2002, 2003. Yep.
Okay. All right.
And if you don't have any other bills, $9 or $10 an hour is pretty good.
So you were living with your parents at the
Yep.
time. You opted to not go to college. You opted to work for your
Yep.
dad's company. What was was your dad's company Elite?
No, it was Brothers Drywall is when I
Brothers.
started. So
Okay.
him and his brother and my uncle all had a drywall company together in Pocatello.
Okay. Interesting. And do those guys still have a company?
No, my dad's retired, my uncle's retired, and my uncle is now doing bail bonds.
Oh, interesting.
He absolutely hated drywall. He was just there to be there.
Yeah. You know what? We talk about how much we like drywall on the Drywall Podcast, but it goes without saying, this is a difficult trade
Oh yeah.
day in, day out. It's very monotonous. We should probably address that elephant in the room a little more than we do. And offline, I'll go offline and talk to people on the phone
Yeah.
about like Fresco, and they're just like, I want out.
Well,
You know?
Fresco I enjoy that. It's fun. There's a big artistic, it's just fun to do. It's like
Yeah.
texture. I like doing textures too.
Yeah. It's
If
not
I'm
like
not,
drywall. It's kind of not like
no,
drywall. It
no.
is, but it isn't. It's a different kind of animal.
Yeah. If we got the spray truck out and we're doing like spraying 30, 40 apartments, I don't like texturing, but just like little stuff here and there, like an accent wall or something, I really enjoy
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There's aspects of drywall I really enjoy. The camaraderie is awesome.
Yeah.
That's something that my dad says he still misses. Uh,
And I feel like it's new, that camaraderie thing. I mean, do you mean camaraderie between workers with Brothers Drywall? Like you
I
guys had
think
a good crew?
I think just going to work, period.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
having something to do and goofing around at work, and
Totally.
there's a fun aspect to it sometimes.
Yeah,
But
it depends on who you work with, but I really
yes,
enjoyed
it
my
does.
experience in Crested Butte. Like we had like this team
Yeah.
and we razzed each other and gave each other shit and got mad at each other and we played
Oh yeah.
poker and drank beers
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff. And that was the funnest I've ever had doing drywall.
Yep.
It had nothing to do with the drywall. It had everything to do with these ballers that I was working with, these cool dudes
You
for
get a
sure.
good crew every now and then, and
Yeah,
it's just a blast. Like right now, we have a really good crew that's a lot
that's
of fun to
awesome.
work with. Right after my dad retired, when we were at Allied Construction, a big company in Omaha, that was a really good crew. It got a little out of hand though there sometimes, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you
At the
know,
end of the day, we're still drywallers and
yeah,
derelicts, as I like to say, but
yeah.
focused energy. So how long were you with Brothers Drywall? So that was your dad was there, they
I
were
was
bringing you
still
up.
I was still in high school when that was going on.
Okay, but you stayed with them for a while.
Yeah, we stayed until 2006, probably. And then that's
Okay.
when my dad retired and I went to a big commercial company and I just stuck with commercial ever since.
Interesting. You went to work with with a larger company.
Yep, big commercial company at Omaha.
Okay. And that was Allied?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Were you running the tools with your dad?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So you guys run the bazooka and all that
Yep.
stuff. What kind of
Yep.
tools were you running with Brothers Drywall?
All tape tech. My dad's had
Okay.
tape tech since the late 70s, so that's all we ever used to use. And but I have lately, we've been slowly getting some more Columbia
Yeah.
pieces.
They'll weasel their way in.
They you know, I really think their tape tech's losing their edge a little bit
How
because
so?
just through technology and stuff, like the
They're
Columbia,
not keeping up, dude.
I don't think I don't think
Columbia's
they
on
are.
social media, Can-Am's on social
Yep.
media. Even like Serpro, Brandon's very smart. He's even like getting in
Yep.
there. The companies that climbed on board with that drywall
Yep.
adventure in Siri,
Yep.
very smart. And
Yep.
even if it doesn't yield like bounty out of the gate. What Aaron and Elliot, what those guys were doing up there is very smart,
Oh yeah.
marketing wise.
Yeah.
I feel like they've uh, kind of been the pioneers of innovative marketing in this space
Oh, 100%.
with like Phil. And if you haven't heard the interview with Aaron and Elliot of Columbia Tools early on, it's a two-part interview, and we talk about how they sort of started utilizing influencers in the drywall space early on
Yeah,
and
first
started
one.
giving tools and creating ambassadorships and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they created all this. And there's other companies that try to keep up with it. I've seen Ames, they have their own influencers and stuff.
Yeah.
But
And level five.
yeah,
I feel like level five, same thing. Like
yeah,
like Scott's not there. There's
yeah,
no like face behind the curtain. And I kind of, their content isn't as maybe as intriguing as companies that are on the forefront
yeah,
of social media doing the content, even three-way, another good example. There's a
yeah,
lot of, CSR,
yeah.
like these people that are on the forefront of social media. It's very cool. Aaron, I was talking to him on the phone one time and he talked about it being like the Wild West. It's very open.
Oh,
There's
it
no,
is. Yeah.
there's no like, nobody knows sort of what to do, but everybody's putting out
They
content
put it out.
and some of it hits and some of it doesn't. You're a big content creator. We'll get into that. I want to flesh out this history of Cory in the
Yeah.
trade a little bit. So when you went to Allied in Omaha, Nebraska,
Mhm.
uh you had your sort of sea legs, so to
Oh, yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
And they took you on as like a journeyman, quote
Yeah.
unquote.
Yeah.
Was that union?
Oh, I started right after their transition. So they were one of the biggest union contractors in Omaha. And they kept a couple of their top union guys stuck around after they switched over to non-union. And
Okay.
then they pretty much got rid of everybody and started over as a non-union shop. And to this day, they're still the Omaha one, the Omaha shop is the only one that's non-union.
Okay.
So their Iowa shops are all union, their Kansas City shop is union, and they're the only ones that aren't.
Okay. So you skirted past the union a little bit
Yeah.
there.
That's
Um,
never really been for me. And I'm not knocking it, but in
sure.
Nebraska, they don't keep up with scale very
Okay.
well here. So it's just you can do over $10 an hour more for a non-union company than you can a union company here.
Okay. What explain that a little bit.
What, as in scale or?
Yeah, scale. You're saying that you can do $10 better an
Yeah.
hour with the union versus non-union.
With non-union. you can do
But
better here.
you're saying you feel like non-union's better because
Yeah.
my experience is
Yeah.
that union is always better.
It
Like,
usually is, but we're in a right to work state.
okay,
So if you are worth your time here, you can very well go to a non-union shop and do more than what scale is
okay.
in our carpenters union, at least.
So you get in there and you kick ass. It's not the drywall union, it's the carpenters union.
It's carpenters union, yeah.
Okay, so drywallers are part of that?
They are in Nebraska. They are.
Okay.
If you went to Kansas City or Wisconsin, I believe they're in painters and allied trades, possibly.
Okay.
I'm not
Interesting.
sure about that though, but I know finishers are in the carpenters union in Nebraska.
In Portland, finishers were their own thing, and then you had painters, and then you had the drywallers were with the carpenters.
Yep.
I
That would
like
make a
that.
lot more sense here, but we only have a couple big cities, so I think they try to lump it together. You know,
Okay.
I don't know why really. I don't know a lot about it, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you didn't follow that path. Now
um,
with the non-union shop,
mhm.
Allied, were did you get benefits and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah, 401k, health
Okay,
benefit, everything.
very cool. All
Yeah,
right, cool, cool.
yeah, vacation.
And how long were you with Allied for?
I think I was there for 7, 8 years, probably.
So quite a while.
Yeah, quite a while.
And what? How many people were a part of that shop?
Oh, 110, 120, probably
Pretty big.
at that time. I think they're a
Yeah.
little bigger now. I still have a bunch of buddies that work there, but yeah, fairly big shop.
Why did you like commercial?
I think it pays a little better. So right
Yeah.
after my dad retired from houses, the prices were good. We were getting, this is back in the early 2000s. We were doing $1.40, $1.50 a square foot, for rock and finish. And now with all the extra labor, gotta be careful how I say that, with all the influence of labor, uh, like we're down, there's some people that are doing rock and finish for high 80s, low 90s cents a foot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just, it's not possible, because your materials are
Yeah.
55 cents a square foot.
Well, it's no secret. Like
Yeah.
the immigrant labor drives the cost of drywall
Yeah.
down. The union
Yeah.
sets a standard,
It helps.
so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
helps. Like so, that's just always the way
Yeah.
that I look at it. But
Yeah.
now, I mean, even in Albuquerque, it seems like with the need for help in the space, the price just
Good.
keeps climbing, which is good for everybody.
That's good.
You know,
You know,
who
I
knows?
prefer to I prefer to do houses. Because a regular size shop, you could do 3, 4 houses a week with no management, maybe a little couple phone calls here and there.
Yeah.
But, these guys now they're doing out the door profit with using subcontractors. They're running $300 to $500 a house profit. So then,
Uh-huh.
you have to do 10, yeah, 10, 15 houses a week. And if your finisher has to go back one time to do touch-ups,
Done. There goes your profit.
there's your profit, and then on top of that, you're only paying 25 cents to finish or 18 cents to rock,
Yeah.
and the guys aren't making enough money to not have to go back and do extras. So
Did you happen to catch the episode with Doug McKenzie?
I did, yep.
Okay, so yeah, we get into that. I'm scheduled to talk to him tomorrow. I'd like to dig in a little more to this
Good.
drywall CEO concept because
I'm excited what he's doing.
yeah, well, it also doesn't just apply to drywall. I'm like, well, it applies to,
Everything.
these systems,
Yep.
and how to run a business and things like that. These
Yep.
concepts that drywallers don't really think of. It's very smart.
Yep.
I'd like to flesh it out a little bit more. Even take his course or learn more about it. It's interesting to me. And the fact that he's specifically targeting drywall is very cool.
Yeah. I follow really close to what he does. So I could take myself out and I would have to bid less because, like you said, your owner does a lot. But
Right.
I could still make my money and watch jobs, but at the same time, I can make more if I work. So I work as much as I can.
Yeah, but you got to cross that chasm to
Yeah,
focusing on TechDry versus
that's
pissing away. I call
yeah,
it pissing away, even with Fresco. I wish I had more right now because
yeah,
I've been like, really pumping the product, but without the service, I get broke really quick,
yeah.
because the product development sucks all of the capital
I'm
constantly.
in the same
Very
exact
difficult,
boat. Same
very
same
difficult.
boat.
Yeah.
Because that's
Uh,
still paying. TechDry is it's floating itself now, but
Good.
like you said, like the innovation and stuff ain't cheap. For us to get a new product on the market, it's
Yeah.
50 grand.
Yeah,
So
we just launched 40 new colors. So each
yeah,
color needs to have a SKU. We just
yeah,
spent,
that's
with
pretty.
Ingrid,
Yeah,
Ingrid's good. Like she's in the studio, she's taking, but we just spent 2 weeks like dialing in a camera to take photos. Now we could have
yeah.
hired a photographer, but like I've been in like weird photo world taking photos of all of these individual, you
I did
know.
that too, and I paid my first product pictures. I paid for those to get done.
Yeah, me
And
too.
they came back and they were all right, but
Yeah, they're good.
I'm thinking to myself, I was like, well, fuck, I can do that. So then, I got my Milwaukee light out, and I got my light sitting up here, and I got
Yeah.
my camera down here, and they take really nice pictures.
Did you diffuse the light?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did the whole thing. 100%.
You do what you can, which is also why the Bernie St. James episode and the Wolfgang episode, like they hold special places in my heart because these
Yep.
people had to go through
Same
that.
thing.
They had to go through the pain and watch your friends out there doing drywall, making a bunch of money, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? You know? And hopefully like having this hope that there's like some purpose behind all of the energy output that we're doing, but
Yeah.
we're getting a little ahead. Do you own Elite Drywall now?
Yeah.
That's your company.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's back up to when you went from Allied. Two questions. Was Allied using the tools? What tools were they using? And then how long were you with Allied before you split away? And I want to sort of talk about that when you started your own business.
Allied was using all the tools. They were using everything. And it was just time to go. That was it. They were using all the bazooka boxes,
But
everything.
why was it time to go for you? What made you think to yourself, I'm going to go run my own business? I think I'm going to be happier running my own business.
Yeah, I don't know if you're happier.
Yeah, but you didn't know that at the time. Something inside
Yeah,
you was like, I'm tired of working for this company. I want to go do
yeah,
my own thing. What
yeah.
I'm digging into that.
Sometimes you just got to know it's time to go and start something
Yeah.
else is all. Like
Yeah.
you have to.
And then was that challenging, when you made that jump? What
It
I mean,
was,
you
it,
had your dad to sort of talk to and your uncles.
well, I had a pretty good understanding on what everything took. Uh, I was helping my dad bid stuff, so I knew the prices and stuff. The hardest part
Okay.
is selling jobs. That's your absolute hardest part,
Okay.
I think.
But and you're an avid listener to the Drywall podcast. Have
Yep.
you catch them each week or?
Doug is the last one I've caught. I think I'm behind one, maybe.
Yeah. Spencer. Yeah. Yeah. So Cory jumps into his own business. He gets a business name. You start hustling work. Maybe you've got a little bit of support from your dad, but that is a scary jump going from commercial, you get a nice paycheck every 2 weeks or every week to hustling your own work and then going and running after money, which you probably still now do
Yeah,
constantly.
still do that. Yeah.
Um, how long are you with your company before this lightning bolt of an idea comes to you? And I kind of want to back up and maybe we did this in the first episode. I can't quite remember, but like, when did that lightning bolt hit where it's like, I need just like a pocket knife type tool that I can whip out and like hit this 1 inch space?
I think it might have been because it was a couple years before I left, and it's took a long time to get it to where it is. I was still working for a commercial company when we did that, and we were doing a remodel on a hotel,
Okay.
and it had a whole bunch of legs on the doors, and they were all different.
Right.
The hotel was built like shit. So
Because the sometimes I'll put those jams in
yeah,
before like
yeah,
home
yeah,
construction, you can finish up to the door, the
yeah,
jam's not in. But if the
yeah,
jam's in, like every fresco job has those fucking things.
yeah,
That's why I'm such a fan of the TechDry.
yeah. You got it with
So,
you, do you?
huh?
You said
What
you got it
happened?
with you?
My TechDry?
Yeah.
I would have to go into my trailer and get it. Do you want me to? I can cut this
No.
shit out. I'll pull that fucker out. I'm still waiting for my etched TechDry
You know,
special. What the
we,
fuck, dude?
we do
You know how
have.
many stickers, you know how many TechDry stickers I've sent out? I still have like fucking that much. Like
Good.
you sent me like 1,000 stickers. And just if you're listening and you buy a Fresco Harmony, anything from Fresco Harmony, you'll get a TechDry sticker.
You get a TechDry sticker. I've
Yeah.
actually got messages from people that I didn't even know bought Fresco Harmony, and they're like, "Hey, thanks for the sticker." I was like, "Thanks."
Yeah, and I love supporting the community and especially TechDry. I think it's a great idea. So back to the story. You're on a commercial project and you got a bunch of legs
Yeah.
next to the door, and are you using a plastic blade or a 1 inch?
I was actually too lazy to go get a different knife, so I was using my pocket knife that had like the Tonto style blades that kind of the 45-degree in. So I was using that to spot screws on the leg of the door frame, and I was like, God, we need a knife that does that. So here we are.
But I mean, did you ever use the plastic knives? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you use those. Okay. I still think TechDry needs a fucking plastic TechDry.
I
Like
still have my competition downstairs that we've been working on here that you fuckers are trying to big dick me on. I still,
the Flex Dry.
I still got it.
What do you mean? You have did Sean send you the Flex Dry?
He did.
Oh, funny. I didn't
If you
know
want to
that.
edit this, I'll run downstairs and grab it.
So
All
what
right.
do we got? You had a there was a maybe a competitor.
There was a competitor out of Canada. Try,
I think though you've had more than one competitor and they might still be on the market.
there is. This is the first one that was the
Yeah.
flex dry
I like how it has a fucking corner tool, dude. You can get up into them
corner
beams.
tool.
Yeah, that's key.
It's got the holder, right there. Quality
What did
holder.
Sean call that? That was there was a lanyard. What is used to tether these together? What is that?
This is space age technology, brand new stuff.
That's
It's a zap strap.
and
That
it comes with two 6 inches.
So Sean was nice enough to send me up a whole package, right? He sends me some shirts from Cam from Precision Drywall.
Nice.
Nate sent me up a hat and a shirt. And he sent me
Nice.
a whole pile of stickers, Brawley's dad hat, and then right
Yeah.
on the bottom was the Flex Dry. So you motherfucker.
Yeah. Flex Dry 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the Screaming Eagle.
I
Yeah.
like it.
But that said, I would love and it just seems like you could do a plastic version, a same plastic version. It could be the same, even the same price, but you would have flex, lighter weight. It would still clean off.
You
Uh,
very well could.
and you would
And
go through them, and not to like be a proponent of products that don't last, but I do like the plastic blades for the flex and
mm,
how you can kind of cut them down if you have to in a
yep.
pinch. And you probably, I would gander that you would sell some of those plastic ones.
I think they might actually do better than the aluminum ones.
Right. And then they're built really well.
Yeah.
So they're going to last a long time,
Yeah.
and you're not pulling it out every job every day. It's definitely something you keep in your pocket and it's like,
Yep.
boom, okay, here's like a spot for the 2 inch. I always have 2 inch spots. I feel
Yeah.
like that I run into.
Yeah.
So you're on this commercial job and you're doing all these with your pocket knife. That's when the idea comes that you were like, gosh, there could be a tool with multiple blades. What is your next what happens next? Do you go tell somebody about the idea? Is this like, I need to make these, I'm gonna make these, and I'm gonna be rich?
Then, well, we're trying for the last part, but
Of
yeah,
course.
we made a couple prototypes. I wish I had one around here. I don't know where it is.
You did the same thing on the last episode two
Yeah,
years ago. Yeah.
super shaky, just trash.
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture. You can add it to the portfolio. But it worked. It showed that the concept worked. And then I had a buddy that he makes guns, AR-15s and stuff like that. So I was like, hey man, let's make me up a real prototype. So he makes
Yeah.
me up a real one.
Okay.
And then we had some CAD files to go off of, and then we just started.
Okay. All right.
Pretty
And
easy.
then, yeah. And I think you were fresh onto the scene when we did our first
It,
podcast, maybe 3 months. We
yeah,
were
it
talking
wasn't
about four or
long.
500 of the
Yeah,
tech drives had been out. How
yeah.
many tech drives are would you say, in circulation today?
Over 4,000 probably.
Okay, over 4,000 or so are in circulation. And then how many retailers how's that going? The retail
It's
part of
not
it.
bad. Retail's actually slowed down a little bit since we got on Amazon. But we got 3 in Canada and 5 or 6 in the States.
Okay, where you at in Canada? CSR,
Yeah,
obviously.
CSR, Bart's, Tapers United,
Okay.
and I think that's it in Canada.
Okay.
And
How
then
you doing at Bart's?
good.
All right.
Bart does sell some tools. His store is packed though, so I think they
Yeah.
get a little buried in places. But
That
yeah,
TechDry, you need to put all of them away and you just need to have one right next
on
to
the
the
counter.
frickin' checkout, like
So
right
what we're
there.
doing now, we have this is going out here next week. The first one's going to CSR.
Okay.
So we're
Nice.
putting these on their counters. They hold 16, swivels
Okay.
around.
Perfect. I like that.
We're waiting for the artwork for the top. So it'll
Okay.
hold 2 deep like this,
Okay.
and then 16 altogether.
I
So
like it. That's really
that'll help a
nice.
lot. Yeah.
I like the stainless edge too.
Yep. Yep.
Very cool.
That'll help a lot.
You kind of run into, I had some feedback on Fresco Harmony that people don't really know what it is. So you kind of have that too. It's like that people
We
see this
do.
box
Yeah.
that's $40 or whatever. I don't know what you're charging, but like, people, it's almost like you want one on the top that's like opened up, that's like
Yeah.
just sitting there.
Really, all that shows you that it's a multi-blade knife is just that right there.
Okay.
Unless you look at the back, and then you can kind of see,
Yeah, okay. I like that.
what it is. But
Is that expensive, that packaging?
It depends on how much we buy. We
Okay.
can get them stickers running about 15 cents a piece. The packaging about 70 cents.
Okay.
But
So,
we could bring it down a lot too, though. But I get the package. It just fits perfect. So we get that from England. And I could go to China and get that package for 8 cents a piece, probably. But
yeah. How come
but
are you selling at GWI over there in Swindon?
I'm not yet.
I gotta hook you up with have you talked to Ben? He's a cool dude.
I did talk to him a little bit, but I don't think we talked about distribution yet. But yeah, I have talked to Ben.
Okay, he's a cool guy. Very cool. So how do you navigate not competing with the retailers? You don't have a web shop where you sell them.
I do. Yeah. You have
You do.
TechDryTools.com.
Okay.
We
And
try really,
they're the same price across the board.
yeah, we try
Okay.
really hard to maintain the same price. Unless you're gonna have, if somebody's gonna run their own sale, like Master Building Supplies, they run
Yeah.
their own sales quite often, but that's on
Yeah.
them.
Like we're
So
gonna do a promo code right now for like
we could
if you listen to the Drywall podcast and you're hearing this and you enter promo code freaking whatever, you can get a
TechDry 10,
discount.
you can get 10% off
TechDry 10.
and a free sticker pack.
Oh yeah, it goes without saying. And you're still doing the TechDry tool with the swag bucket from CSR.
Yeah, we are. Yep.
Has that been good for you, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love seeing people open it up and get excited about it. It's one of their favorite things in the bucket.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, besides the Fresco Harmony sample
Yeah,
pack,
that's the best.
it's a really close second.
But no, that
And the
alone,
the air freshener. I stand corrected. Probably the air freshener.
the blue CSR, because we get most of our tools from CSR also, just because they're all the way in Canada. They get me whatever I need in 4 days,
Yeah.
maybe 5. Like if it's a busy season, it might be 5.
Yeah.
If I order on like a Saturday, I'll get it by Friday. If I order on a Monday, I'll get it on a Thursday.
Yeah. What would be the biggest thing that you did not foresee happening that's happened with the Tech Dry that you would have been like, dude, I would not have done this if I had known X?
I really don't like that it's such a niche tool. I
Okay.
would have started with some of our other projects if I would have known that. I don't think that many people care about their small detail work, to be honest with you. Like, I wish I would have stuck with something that was a mass selling product, like our new skimming blades or our new knives.
Yeah.
I think that it would have had better out of the gate sales.
Okay.
But at the
Like
same,
for brand, specifically for brand recognition.
well, I was going to get to that. So brand recognition, I think this really helps because it's so unique, you
Yeah.
know, but at the same time, unless you're a 40-hour plus drywall finisher, I don't think it's for you. So my market is super small. I think if I would have started out, I would have started with our skimming blades instead of this.
Interesting. And you're how is that going? Do you have skimming blades on the market? You were
We're not-
working on the
yeah.
concept and you've been
We
working on that for quite a
yeah.
while.
We have them ready to go. I have some of the knives right here,
Very
finished
cool.
up, ready to go.
Dig
But
it.
we're just working on more machines, more money.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And what are you going to launch if you can say what sort of skimming blade line are you going to launch? That looks like a regular offset knife.
It is.
That's like an 8-inch offset.
This is a 10. Yep,
That's a
just a
10. Okay.
regular offset with our own handle on it. You can tell it's pretty much a trowel handle.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we noticed most of them on the market just had their skinny little straight handle. and they don't feel right. So we put a camelback trowel handle on there and they feel awesome.
Okay.
Our skimming blades are going to be just like this. They're not going to be soft like a skimming blade though. They're going to be stiffer like a knife.
Okay.
Because I've noticed a lot of times with the skimming blades, say you'll go run them over a butt joint, and the blades are so flimsy that you can still see that hump in the middle of your butt joint.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that at all when you're doing that?
I don't run butts very much, and the skimming blades came after my time.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
But they kind of follow the wall. Not always. Like if you push soft enough, you can float it and feather your edges. But I wanted something that was just a little bit stiffer.
Okay, so you have trouble feathering with, because I know you have just a small reveal of blade on those skimming blades, but they are interchangeable, correct?
Ours will not be. Ours will be
rigid. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be identical to this, but it'll be 16 and 32.
Okay.
The 16 and 32 are going to have two handles. So you're going to hold it like this.
Okay.
And it's really ergonomic to feel it, and it's really, really nice.
Yeah, as opposed to, I guess, the one large like that, you can kind of.
The two handles is really nice because if you hold your hands out like this,
it feels natural just to do that motion. Yeah.
So do that same thing you just did with the two handles, but then hold it, twist your hands like you were holding a skimming blade. This feels way better.
It's like, you have more.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you've ran these blades.
We have, yep. We've went through about a year of, we've been using them for a while, so.
Okay. Very cool. And when could we expect these new, now, do they have a name?
They don't yet.
Like
thinking about that.
The blade dry? The blade dry?
Right? They'll be out as soon as I get the money.
The Blade Runner.
Actually, that's pretty cool, really. The 90s trivia with it.
Yeah, and I know Advanced makes a similar blade with a rounded edge that I recommend for Fresco Harmony. Are you guys going to have anything with a rounded edge?
I haven't thought about that. I don't really like to take people's ideas. So I think they're the only ones that are running those. So I'll probably stay away from that.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Maybe for texturing.
Well, if you watch Richard run his knife, he does a lot of this, back to forth. And with that rounded corner, it's never going to leave a line,
Yeah.
So I can see why he did it.
Okay.
Any product that you develop, even the smallest, stupidest product, there's a lot that went into that fucker.
Screws. Drywall Shorty was just talking about drywall screws, and she goes into the whole dynamic between these different types of screws. I'm sure Kevin would have a mouthful to say about.
Oh God, that's a whole episode.
Just screws. So there's a lot to all of this stuff, and I love the conversation. I don't want to badmouth anybody.
Yeah.
And when I try not to badmouth anyone on the internet, that's my come from. Go badmouth them to your friends all you want. It doesn't serve anyone in the industry, to go on to a Drywall Shorty video and talk about how lame she is. The girls get a lot of shit in the industry.
Oh yeah.
From a lot of people. And they're just out there busting their ass like everybody else. She
actually does a really good job, and she is
phenomenal.
A good finisher.
Yeah.
Her process is the same as what we do every day. There's really no difference in what we do and what she does.
Yeah.
You can tell if you've been doing this long enough, you can tell who does what on their videos and stuff. Like I can look right at them and be like, yeah,
Yeah, it shines through.
I
You can tell who's full of shit and
yeah,
who isn't. I
yeah,
mean, it's very obvious
yeah,
to me. It's
yeah.
obvious like there's finishers out there, and then there's maybe people that are learning,
I
but
agree.
there's people that aren't finishers at all, you know.
I agree.
And it's to a finisher, it's very obvious. If I wasn't a finisher, and
You would know.
for the Drywall podcast, I just try to pick finishers. You know, we've had some like CEOs and stuff like that, but I mean, I want to talk to finishers.
Yeah. And that's
But
understandable. You know, even if you're a CEO running a drywall company, like you know something, like you just don't step
yeah,
in and don't know
yeah,
anything.
yeah, for
So
sure.
that's acceptable.
Kevin knows his shit. Like,
He was a finisher for a while, wasn't he? In the 80s and 90s, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they all fucking finished. Chris is great.
Yeah.
Really good hand. He
I
just
like Chris a lot.
jumped on the wall, or we were doing lids. We were covering popcorn, but he just crushed it, man.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, he was good. So the TechDry, it's been challenging. You have persevered for the last 4 years. You're coming out with new products. What makes Cory keep going at this point? Why do you keep after it? And have you wanted to give up?
Because I'm stupid, dude, and I can't give up.
Yeah, but why? Like
Yeah, what else am I gonna do? I ain't got
That's
no
it.
other options, Nick.
Yeah, I like that. I like that answer.
I do. It's super fun, dude. For the most part, like besides the stress part of it, I have a blast. Talking to everybody on
Yeah,
social media, talking to you, like it's fun.
yeah, yeah,
And I like making tools. Bringing something to market is super rewarding when you
yeah.
actually get it out there and people accept it. That's super cool.
That's a great
But
answer.
it's frustrating and expensive adventure for sure.
Yeah, yeah. When can we expect these blades to hit the market?
As soon as I get the money,
Okay.
that's that's really it. Like we're just waiting
Soon.
for you, right? We need a couple different machines, and that's about it, really.
Okay.
We
So
need,
you're saving up to get a proper machine to
yeah,
do your more of your own manufacturing.
yeah. We like to do
Okay.
as much as we can. Uh, I'm definitely not sending anything to China or anything like that. So as
Yeah.
much as we can do in Omaha or Lincoln, the better.
Well, and I will say this from the last episode, I did get a roll of Made in America stickers. We don't put them on everything, but
Mhm.
there's a nice spot on the sealer where we put
Yeah,
Made in America. Our sealer's made in San Antonio. We do all the product manufacturing
for
right
sure.
here. That is a hell of a selling point,
Yeah.
and taking pride in what you do as well. Not only that, but it's very green.
Especially
Um,
for chemicals like what you're doing, you you could cut half your cost by getting all that made in China and shipped over in a container.
yeah,
Quality control, maybe not so much, but it wouldn't be anything.
yeah. I mean, and it does come down to cost too.
Yeah,
I've seen my fair share of Shark Tank episodes.
yeah,
Where we can certainly cut costs.
yeah.
There's going to be a little price increase with Fresco in October. Be the first one in quite a while.
That's all right.
Uh, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Um, is there a system that you have adopted recently that you didn't think would work? This could be for maybe manufacturing or sales, or on the job doing drywall that you didn't think would work, a tool, a system, but you adopted it and now you wouldn't do it any other way.
We really like the Graco Mark V. We've been using that a lot at work.
Okay. And you're
That's been
doing a lot of spray texture with the Mark V?
we do a lot of level 5 with it.
Okay, how does that work?
You just mix up the mud, stick it in the machine, and spray it on and wipe it off. Like
Okay, why aren't you coloring the fucking mud when you spray it on there?
I wish I could. In commercial,
Your base coat's already there.
I really wish I could. I've been trying. We've been talking to Sean. I've been trying to get him a house up here, but it's proven harder than we could find. But
Yes, there's a dude in Philadelphia that has a house that I've been talking with Aaron, another adventure.
mhm.
It is hard to wrangle those adventures. I love the challenge though, and the first one was so fun that we want to just get another one,
And
and we
I
will.
didn't think it would be that hard because everything it lines up great. You get free material. All you're paying is straight up $1 a square foot, and the guys show up and do it. Like
Yeah.
that's a hell of a deal to me, but I don't think anybody wants to deal with it, and I don't know why.
It's different. It's different and it's new and it's just like anything, man.
Yeah,
There were challenges with the Surrey job. There were some
yeah.
serious challenges, I mean, Aaron spent a lot of money.
No, I'm sure.
There was but he's a visionary though. I mean, there's people that are visionaries
Yep,
that will do it. This guy out of Philadelphia, he has a house. He's familiar with Fresco. He loves the idea of the whole influencer set and the drywall thing. I put him in touch with Aaron. We're
yeah.
talking. This is how ideas come to fruition.
Philadelphia would be a cool trip.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Um, we'll see what happens. I went for one in Santa Fe. The drywall company here outbid me by half. I mean, they're already on the job. They're doing the drywall. I told the guy, we're gonna bid the job at X amount, and yeah, I think they're just a little nervous. They'd rather they're familiar. They still did Fresco Harmony on the whole job, but they they just used a company here.
Half, huh?
Yeah, it was half of my bid.
That hurts.
It's fine. I still made money selling
Yeah,
products.
yeah.
They're still finishing a whole house.
Yeah,
They're already doing something that nobody's doing. And they
yeah,
sprayed out the entire base coat again, just like you're doing with the Mark
yeah.
V. So they spray out the base coat, they do sanded finish, and then they waited until CO to seal it. So they waited till the end, did all the patching and everything, and then sealed it right at the end.
Cool.
And I talked to the builder. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's slick. It totally works." In Santa Fe, the plaster finish is competitive. And then your pearl of wisdom. What do you got, Cory, to bestow on our drywall community? What advice would you give us?
Just keep going. Don't ever give up, ever.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah. What else are you gonna do?
Very cool. Yeah, we'll have to talk about TechDry
Yeah,
sponsorship with the Drywall podcast. Always love supporting you guys
yeah,
and catching up with you, man.
for sure.
Where do you see for TechDry headed from here?
Just getting more tools out. That's my whole goal right now.
That's your goal right now. I
Yeah.
love it. And by now, I would have assumed that you've divorced yourself from the idea of this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is where sort of it becomes more about what you're passionate about and not as much and what you're doing, what you're up to versus I'm going to make a bunch of money and you know
100% fully separated from that idea.
yeah,
But there is money to be made.
absolutely.
But it does take years to build up that sales portfolio to do that.
Yeah. Fresco Harmony took about 10 years before. I mean, we just a few years ago started to where it was starting to pay for itself, like materials,
Good.
and we're still not there.
It
It's
takes a
like
really long time.
it takes a really long time. People don't realize, and a lot of people quit. So, kudos for that. Thank you so much for coming on the Drywall podcast again.
Yeah.
This was pretty good. Is there anything we left out that you wanted to say?
No, I think it went really well.
Good, good. I
Really
forgot
well.
to hit record again, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Make sure you cut out all that shit we talked.
The shit talking with Rich, I don't know, man. We'll see how it sounds when I get there. You know,
Play it. And if you want, man, we can do that giveaway. I still have all the cases and everything ready to go. Do you want to do like 5 or something, man? We can send them down.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about that offline. Like an ice bath giveaway or something.
Yeah. You could have a podcast takeover giveaway or something.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a good idea.
I can't believe nobody hit on the stilts though.
I mean, there was a few, but
Yeah.
there was less than 20 people.
No shit.
You
Is
know?
it still going? I'll enter myself.
No, 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 Rob Mack.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better person to win.
Yeah, that's great.
And those Serpro stilts are pretty damn cool, man. With that toe,
You
they're
know,
pretty sweet.
I've always been a Durastilt person myself, just because
Hmm.
that was when I started.
Yeah.
But I think the Serpros are way nicer, do way
Those
more
tool
innovation.
pros with the big Velcro wrap around the calf, like
Yeah.
that, those look like the shit too.
And
Um,
I've never been a huge Tool Pro person. Like their magnesium ones aren't bad just because they're super light, but you can get that in the Serpros, you know? Like just
yeah, they're really well built. I don't know if I would go with the dual side if I got because I'm light
the
and
dual sides are really nice, dude.
but the way they pinch your leg, it's pretty cool.
It is. And the first couple times you walk on them, it will click. You'll click them in between, and you
Yeah,
learn to walk a little more bow-legged. Not much, but just a little
yeah,
bit. But they're
yeah,
way more comfortable. Like if you're doing ceiling grid or something like that consistently, that's what you need is
yeah,
the
yeah.
belt.
We did that. I did that whole popcorn cover job
Mhm.
with the Serpros, and you know,
I was
I liked
on
them.
I was on their website a little while ago because I was looking for a new pair of stilts, and I haven't bought any yet. But did you see their competition brand they had on there?
Yeah, Brandon made sure to tell me that they're
Like
like for
18,
actors.
they're like $1,800.
Yeah. They're
Like,
like for circus performers,
yeah.
like that
What
type of
what made
thing.
him do that?
I guess there's a market. There's a market for,
I guess
you
what
know,
else are they gonna wear? Like
high end stilts for sure. I mean, especially in movies, things like that.
makes sense. Fuck it.
I've asked him specifically. That's what he said. Um, yeah, but still, even the high end pair of stilts, with one side or two side, that's a 500 plus value,
Yeah.
for just coming on the saying what you like about the podcast, or if you don't like the podcast, I mean, I don't have a huge following, but still, I thought that was a
Okay.
pretty badass giveaway,
Yeah. I'm
whatever.
I'm really proud of the consistency, man. You're here every Friday. What have you missed? Like one Friday?
No, I've missed
Not many.
I've missed a bunch. We talked a lot about Fresco. It wasn't, I wanted to get that background story, how you came up with the TechDry, some of the challenges you've had with the
Yep.
TechDry. It follows like more of a timeline, you
Well, what are
know.
you going on now? 110, 120 episodes?
Yeah, I think 107. This is 107.
Think of it that way. Like,
Yeah, look at
when
all
you
these.
first
The
started,
last one, Spencer, was 107.
I thought you did a good job when you first started, and once you did something 100 times, you're gonna be way better at it.
I don't know, and I'm super appreciative to people that do listen. My goal is like to make it interesting enough to capture people's attention so that they'll
Yeah,
listen. If
yeah.
people aren't listening, then what's the point? I want to get Tool Pro on sponsored, so I'm bugging those guys, bugging the Rip It guy quite a bit. He's, is tough to I mean, it's tough to wrangle these people.
Older guy, gray
Okay.
hair. He's a
Okay.
decent guy.
Okay.
I was trying to sell the idea to TechDry. This is before I even had a name or anything for it. And he's a really nice guy, dude. Like, he reached back out. He was going through his emails at the end of the year, and he was like, well, did you ever get this on the market? And so he was checking back and seeing how things were going. And
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Text me his email and I'll plug it in.
I will. I'll send it to you, right?
Yeah, we got to have another like brainstorm, like just conversation where we talk about marketing and stuff. I'm curious about,
anytime.
where you're at. It's always a pleasure. Cory Fisher with the TechDry Tool. Thank you so much again for being on the Drywall Podcast. We will catch up soon. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, man.
For sure, man. Enjoy it.
All right, buddy. Talk soon.
See you later, Nick.
All right, bye. Huge shout out to Cory for sharing your wisdom and insight with us on the Drywall Podcast today. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your friendship. Man, it's been great getting to know you over all of these years. Interested in telling your story on the Drywall Podcast, or maybe you would like to advertise your business on the Drywall Podcast, you can get a hold of me, Nick Harmon, at info@frescoharmony.com. I would love to hear from you, and doubly, I would love to hear your story. You can tune into the Drywall Podcast every Friday for new and exciting episodes of the Drywall Podcast, showcasing your favorite drywall heroes and influencers and business owners from the drywall community. This episode of the Drywall Podcast was brought to you by Fresco Harmony. Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. You can find out more information if you go to www.frescoharmony.com. We also sell out of CSR in Toronto. If you're from Canada, that is a fantastic place to find products. You can also get free product if you've never used it. Just contact me and we'll get you hooked up. Also, TechDry Tools, enter promo code TechDry10 for 10% off your next purchase of TechDry Tools. Thank you so much for joining us on the Drywall Podcast today. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and remember, keep drywalling.